Hello, everyone. So with me, Louis is on, and I'm so excited. Welcome, Bodam Taiwo, my super woman encourager. Thank you so much for being on. Masodi, thank you for coming on board. Such an exciting thing to see you and to have you in the webinar with me. Right? Olabisi Obayomi, so glad to have you on board too. If you don't mind, you can actually start to type to me in the next 5 to 10 minutes why you joined the webinar today. Right? Amaka, so delighted to see you. Thank you, kisses from Bodam. I'm very delighted to definitely have you on board. So you can talk to me. Chiloma, welcome. Millicent, Emanuela, very excited to have you guys on board. And it's going to be such a great time together. So if you don't mind, Deshawa says she can't see me. I hope that you're able to figure that out because I believe that the others on board can. I love you guys too. Welcome Inyoluwa, Olajumoke, Millicent, Taiwo Lushoga. I'm very excited to see you. Who else can't see my face so that I can be sure if we're having that situation and I can try to fix it? Can you see my face, guys? Deshawa says she can't see my face. Can you see my face? Yeah, okay. You guys see me. Something on your side, Deshawa. Amaka says she can't see me either. Please log out and log in again. That should make a difference. Okay. Yeah, some people can see me. Some people can't see me. Going on with that. Olubumi can see me. Chiloma can see me. Millicent can see me. Okay. Thank you. Mojisola says she can see my pretty face. You can see my cheeky face, isn't it? I'm so excited to see you. I see my connection is slightly unstable. I hope it gets better. Yes, it's back on. I'm very delighted. I have 37 women currently on board. Only thank you. She says that it's stunning. Okay, very excited to be here. Bukola Okola can't see me. I hope that changes on your side very soon. Let me know if there's anything I can. Okay, Blessing says I can see you now. I had to log out. It's better. So Bukola Deshawa, please, would you kindly log out and log back in? I hope it makes a lot of difference. Thank you so much. Louis says that she loves my top. Thank you so much for the feedback. I got it from Toka. Jemima Additional is on board, and I'm so excited to have you in too. Thank you so much for diving in and for being a part of what we're going to be doing together today. Yes, Deshawa can see me now. Bodam can see me now, logged back in. Excited. I'm so glad that we're able to do this together. Okay, so in the next 5 minutes, I would love you to start to type to me what is the one thing that you're hoping to learn today. Why did you join the webinar? What do you think it can do for you? And what are you just longing to experience or to interact with that can be valuable for your journey and the decisions that you're going to be making about the year 2020? Okay, Bodam says she joined the webinar because 2020 has to be an exponential year. I'm ready for a year and a decade with a difference. It can't be business as usual. Wow. I love the sound of that. Absolutely. I absolutely love the sound of that, Bodam. And yes, it can be business as usual. Thank you, Okoyemi, who's saying I look so nice. Thank you so much, FG, for that feedback too. I'm so excited to be doing this with you. Dorothy Ashegbe Louis, I'm delighted that you can see me and we're on board the webinar together today. It's definitely going to be a great time, and I'm looking forward to reading a few more of your thoughts and your reasons for signing on to the webinar as a guide to help me know what we can do together and what you might be looking out for, right? Kemi Popola, welcome on board. Very excited to have you and very delighted to be in this webinar with you today. Ogechuku Igwegbe says that I want to set realistic goals for 2020 and actually achieve them, not business as usual. Judy says, hi, DDK, first time here, been following closely. So excited to have you, and I definitely love you too. Okay. Amaka, so delighted to see you. Thank you so much, Olufumi, Ogugwa, Iyama. Also, thank you, everyone who is dived on board. Very delighted to have you at the webinar today. Okay. So I'm waiting to hear from just a few more of us. Why are you in the webinar this evening? And let's see what we obviously can achieve in the 60 to 90 minutes that we're going to be spending together here. Ella says, I joined to be able to make strategic plans that I will follow through and to live beyond a casual and mediocre life in 2020. Okay, Amaka says, managing core relationships in this exponential here, my husband, family, friends, mentees, my staff, etc. Brilliant. I'll take maybe 2-3 more. Dorothy says, I want 2020 to be the year where I can stretch. I want to move from ideas to actually doing it. FJ says, I joined the webinar to elevate my vision as I prepare for 2020. I want to learn how I can keep stepping up and evolving radically. And I think that's so fantastic. I'm delighted to hear you say that. Okay. Bam Bam Me Too says, hello, it's DDK. It's so good to be here. I joined to realign my goals. Kemi Ulubola says, I want to hit 2020 running, making every single day count. I know that I need to be deliberate and strategic about this, and that's why I'm here. I have a lot of goals for 2020. I really want to go all the way with planning and execution. I'm hoping to achieve clarity of purpose and hopefully learn how to be more articulate in communicating my ideas. Deshawa says, 2020 is a journey on new paths for me. I've been equipping myself and studying in 2019, and I desire to launch out in different aspects of my life come 2020. Okay, Mojisola says, I want practical tips and steps I can take daily to discover my passions and my calling. Okay, Blessing says, I don't want 2020 to just be a year where I set goals, but where I break boundaries. Nena says, I want to be able to plan strategically, and I want to get to the end of the year well-rounded, achieve my milestones across all my passions and expressions. Emily says, I want an audacious 2020. I want to make bold moves. I want to learn how to invest wisely, money, time, other resources, including people. Profound. I'm so excited to read all of these things that you amazing women have said. And I feel like that is even the beginning of what we're going to be sort of doing in our time here together. I believe that some of the foundational steps that we should be taking for making 2020 a very significant year is already happening right now as you sort of begin to articulate at a certain level what 2020 is going to look like for you, right? And I think that's such a great thing. Thank you so much. Temitope Ajeku says, hey mama, I'm busy loving house with you. Look, I think that you guys came ready for me this evening to really encourage my heart, and I love it. Thank you so much, right? Kids Deco Niger says, I want 2020 to be a year where I do more than talk, which is brilliant. I love it, right? Exciting. I'm delighted to read from you guys, right? So we're going to go straight on into some of the things that I want to share with you this evening in this webinar. And when we're done today, I would still love you to go back, take some time to think about these things that notes, and also listen beyond the words, listen with your heart, and some of the things that will come out to you after listening will be very authentic to your own unique journey, because sometimes the goal of listening to a coach is so that you can have a new pair of eyes or a new lens through which you view things. And from that point on, you can begin to make very defining decisions for yourself. Okay, so this is just like our time to interact with truth and to reappraise where we have been on the journey to where we are going next. Okay, so I'm going to kick off already with the webinar, and I will be going back and forth between just looking into the screen at you and then checking again to see some of the thoughts, questions or answers that you might have raised while I was speaking. So 2020 is a very, very defining year obviously you already know that, and you're already trying to get yourself ready and prepared to step into what is going to definitely maybe be the most defining, and radically different decade that you probably have experienced in your life. The economies of the world are responding very quickly to the tremendous changes that we're going to witness in the course of the coming decade. We're going to see trends in growth of population. We're going to see trends in the growth of the knowledge economy. We're going to see scientific inventions, the power of artificial intelligence. We're also going to see the tremendous power of a generation coming together. Young people are going to play very significant roles in shaping world policy and world powers by mobilizing and rallying a compelling troop. Young people are going to be coming together to do things together more than they've ever done in their lives. Young people are going to be at the forefront of powerful advocacy, powerful policy formulation, and we're also going to witness the power of creativity producing new streams of wealth, new streams of patent, and literally you're going to see the creative sector gaining significant attention, around the globe. So people that are creatives, who sing, who do spoken words, who draw, who write, who paint, and who use their creativity to solve problems in communities would begin to, marshal their energies in the right direction, and they will get wealthy for it. We're also stepping into the wealthiest decade that the world has ever experienced, and there's going to be a radical shift of wealth from an established older generation to a far younger generation who are going to be rewarded enormously for their thinking and for their thought leadership. So the decade is a powerful one. We're also going to see women rising into positions of leadership, positions of authority, positions of power, and their voice will be heard more than it has ever been. It's the decade when the opinion, perspective, and ideas and ideals of women are going to be heard, are going to be put in the forefront, and nations or political institutions or systems of the world that try to marginalize or silence women will actually be ostracized from the global community. So indeed, we're going to see a decade that is going to change how the world communicates, the world interacts, the world rewards expertise. We're going to see a decade where young people are going to take the forefront. We're going to see a decade where collaboration is going to be the new cool. We're going to see a decade where science, technology, engineering, and math will begin to produce results in terms of innovation that solves problems for communities. We're also going to see a decentralization of the power of the government on the African continent. And what that means is that people within their own localities are going to begin to create their own solutions, and the government will actually become partners to community-centered projects and inventions and innovations across healthcare, education, politics, energy and environment, all spheres of human experience. The other thing we're also going to see is that there's going to be a very powerful commoditization of intellectual property and inspiration. What that means is people are not just going to have great ideas in the new decade. People are going to actually begin to give material expression to great ideas. And people of the spirit, people of the kingdom are actually going to understand more than ever before the strategies for carrying revelation knowledge and making it into usable commodities in the marketplace and in the different spheres of influence. So it's a wealthy decade, it's a powerful decade, it's a decade of change, it's a decade when we're also going to be witnessing a significant drawn line between those who are for truth and those who are against truth. So cover-ups are going to be blown in the new decade. Those who are pretending, those who are living two-faced lives, those who are living a lie, those who are hiding, beneath one finger and doing the wrong things, but making an appearance to be great people with great values and great character are going to be exposed. So spiritual leaders, political leaders, institutional leaders, industry leaders, and even leaders within homes and families who are on a path that is not godly, that is not right, that doesn't have the strong values, are also going to be exposed. Talking about families, it's also going to be a decade of families. There will be the reunions of families, and there's also going to be the disruptions of families. So those who have been sent with a message for building families have to pay attention to what is going to be happening in this decade. There will be attacks against families, but there's also going to be provisions of healing streams for families, and there will be diverse kinds of powerful miracles that will happen to unite families. Families that have been torn apart and have not been standing together will ultimately begin to come together now to do a mighty thing on the face of the earth. So those are some things that you want to begin to pay attention to as far as the dimensions of what will begin to open up in the globe, in nations and families and societies would obviously look like in the coming decade. Now, let me talk to you about a few things that will start to happen to individuals in the new decade. In the new decade, individuals are going to experience the highest level if they open up themselves to the streams of the Spirit and the workings of God across the earth. Individuals are going to be witnessing a mighty visionary move. What this means is that people are going to begin to see. We're coming into a phase where those who distinguish, those who set their hearts apart to seek God and to seek answers for their generation would actually begin to walk in light. There's going to be a lot of light shining upon spirits, shining upon hearts, shining upon minds. People who are passionate to solve a problem will begin to have visitations of the night where beyond their intellect and their education, they're going to be having secret answers for fixing crisis all around them, for opening up new opportunities for the economy, for entering into new markets, and for making a difference in their own sphere of influence or their own industry or their own mountain, right? So this is about the time that young people or every person who has a passion to promote a kingdom agenda, who has a passion to turn the world into a globe of justice, of healing, of change, such people now must begin to really understand what mountain they have been sent to. It is time for you to actually understand the concept of the 7 mountains. It's time for you to actually understand the matter of identity, who you are, what makes you different, what you have to offer. This is time to understand your skills and to also be able to understand your giftings and to understand the power underneath how you have been gifted. It's a time when speakers must understand how to mobilize a troop and how to spark up a movement through the gift of their speaking. Those who write, those who sing, those who dance, those who are super connectors, who create collaborative platforms, those who build stuff, those who have innovation. However you have been gifted, this is the decade where the globe and the demands of your generation is going to place a major, going to put pressure on your gifts, hoping that you rise to the occasion and you make a difference. That is actually the globe that we have stepped in, the decade we have stepped into, and that's the time we're living in. So for individuals, it's a decade of light. It's a year of light. 2020 is a year of light where secrets are going to be handed to leaders. And to be a leader, you don't need a position. You just need a burning desire to make a difference and to solve a problem. So you are in the time when you must be very clear on your assignments, clear on your calling, clear on the problem you were born to solve, clear on the sector you should play in, clear on the audience you were sent to, clear on the nation you should be living in. It's that time of light. I'm excited to see what Olubumi is saying. So delighted. So it's a time of light. It's a time to know the mountain you've been sent to know the people you've been raised for, and to fine tune your message. You can't live as an average person, or else you could be stampeded. It's actually the time to really fine tune your message and be very, very clear on what you've been given to do. That's the first thing about the decade and the year 2020 on a personal level. On a personal level, the second big thing we're going to witness is that there will be access to wealth at a level that we've never known as young people. There's going to be reward for talent, reward for innovation, reward for creativity, reward for service. There's going to be word for collaboration, and it's going to come in forms in diverse forms of wealth. If you get a copy of my book, Firebrand Forerunners, and I encourage you by the grace of God to ensure that you begin to read that book into 2020, is an urgent message out of heaven to the earth. If you get a copy of the book, I shared on an entire section that has maybe about 3 to 5 chapters on what is called the forerunner fortune. There's a fortune that is allocated to this dispensation and a generation that has never been witnessed in our history of humanity. For real, I'm telling you what is heavy waiting to reign over a generation as a reality within the bandwidth of what God wants to do. So individuals as well as nations are actually going to be experiencing an unprecedented stream of wealth that is not just financial in nature. And in that book, I shared on the different dimensions of wealth, about 12 of them that are accessible and possible for forerunners and visionaries who are going to pay the price to show up, to the occasion and to rescue their generation and to make a difference. So there's going to be a powerful flow of wealth. And we're definitely here for it, very definitely ready to witness it. On a third level, there's going to be a shaking of relationships because for many of us, the current relationship structure we have in our lives can actually not carry the enormity of the vision and the mandate that God is resting upon the spirits of many young people, and you're part of them. So in year 2020, as a preparation for the decade, there's going to be a shaking of relationships. And it doesn't mean that people are going to have to part in painful ways, or relationships are going to get damaged and you're going to say, you don't belong with me anymore. No. But 3 things are going to define the shaking of relationship. 1, there's going to be clear distinctions provided by the Spirit for people to begin to understand who is in their life and the roles that they have to play, right? And this is so important, right? So relationships shaking, you're going to have to start to redefine who is in your life and for what purpose. And then you are also going to start to partner with people who with whom you should serve a vision, but who don't necessarily look like you. And this one is so sensitive and interesting because some of the people you're going to be partnering with are not necessarily people of the same faith, because God doesn't have a problem using members of the kingdom who are not necessarily already in a life in the spirit yet, but they still belong to him and they are important to his agenda. And he's going to show you there's a whole methodology around that. And in the month of January, I'm going to be spending a whole week in an unbundling 2020 masterclass with a select number of women. And then I will make the videos available where I'm going to be distilling what 2020 and the decade will look like and the unique methodologies for harnessing what is reserved in the year. So there's going to be a shaking of these different relationships in your life. So you have to, you're going to experience distinctions, you're going to need to get into partnerships, and then you are going to humble yourself to begin to serve another person's vision and to begin to support other people's work beyond yours, and a few other things that would significantly define how the shaking of relationships will be. And then of course there'll be shedding, so there'll be people that have to go, there'll be things that have to go. 2020 is a year of shedding. I know many people just want to hear amassing, becoming better, things happening for you, but it's going to begin with a lot of shedding in relationships, in material possessions, in where people work, the businesses they've done, or how they see themselves, their identity, things around the emotional baggage they're carrying. But there's going to be a lot of shedding in the year 2020. There's going to be a lot of that, right? So I want you to say to me of these things that have started to open up to you about how the year 2020 as well as the incoming decade will look like. How many of these things can you say, okay, sounds like what I'm already sensing in my heart, and can you just put some credence to whatever you might already be experiencing or sensing in your heart, or you're already hearing also. And for some of you, it might be you're just saying, wow, of the things you've said, this is the one that has hit me like a light bulb moment, and I'd like to know more about it. Okay, so if you can put that out to me, it would be great to just read a few of your thoughts saying, hey, DDK, thank you for sharing this with me. It aligns with some of the insights I'm already experiencing and interacting with, or this is where I got my light bulb moment. For Fisaya, she says, year of shedding. Fantastic. So that's already coming to you. Indeed, there's going to be a lot of shedding. It's not just personal shedding, it's also national shedding. African countries are going to have to trade their leaders, maybe trade is not the word, are going to have to give up on some leaders that they've worked with or allowed to lead them for the longest time. And for some, it's going to be very difficult because it will require very stringent legal procedures to oust some leaders so that a fresh generation can arise. So there'll be diverse kinds of sheddings going on, for us to be able to access the freshness that is about to come. Yeah, Mudukwe says, shedding is already happening to me. Olubumi says, I was told it will be a transformational year. Bodam says, yes, shedding and a change in relationships, also entering into different levels of wealth are all such a confirmation for me. Yeah, Mojisola says, if you live an average life, you'll be stampeded. When I said that, she felt that was such a powerful food for thought. Oluseyi says, accuracy in the area of light and serving other people's vision. I had a vision of that a few days back. Adio promises, thank you, DDK. Shaking of relationships is already happening to me. Itunu says, I'm here. Tilt the Nation also says, shaking of relationships. She knows that's for her, right? Bukola says, I can relate with 2020 being a year where I have to be clear. Exactly. That was what I started with, about being so clear. This already started, and I was even praying about it yesterday. I'm excited. Olufumi says, healing rain falling all around. Sandra says, year of speeds. Omobolanle Atobatele says, definitely agree with you on the wealth transfer. It will be radical. It's also a decade for reunion of families. She also has a confirmation about that. Anuli says, a year of sight, becoming more aware of things that she wasn't aware of. And that is light. That is truly light. Taiwo Olusoga says, understanding who I am and what I stand for are so powerful confirmations for her, as well as the year of light happening around her, change in relationship. Someone says all aspects are confirmations for me, clarity of purpose. Safety Chick said, today I walked into a unique partnership, from dropping book to discussing with finance to meeting GM, getting approval. Yes, to people not looking like what is coming. Ooh, so good. Just so good. Amaka says, shaking of relationships, shedding of relationships and material possessions, as well as fine-tuning of her message. Oluwato Yomotayo says, reunion of families is a confirmation for her. My brother and mother saw for the first time yesterday in 12 years. Oh, powerful, powerful, powerful. Oluwatoyin said, a shaking of relationship is happening already. Olubumi Ojua says, it's a year and decade hinged on Matthew 6:33 and serving the kingdom agenda. Spotlights will be placed on people and there'll be disruptions. Ah, wow, just so powerful. I'm definitely so inspired by some of the things that you have said to me. Okay, so are you now ready? Mojupe, let me take yours. Says, I'm the kind of person who loves to carry friends along every time, but there's something new God is doing with me. And apart from the fact that it just distracts me, you just confirmed it. Deshawa says, yes to the Firebrand Forerunner book. Okay, so let us get on into some of the things I want to share with you about visioning your 2020. If you're ready, say I'm ready for it. So we can just dive on into that in the next few minutes. Say I'm ready for it. Let's go, DDK. Share with me what I can start to do differently, how I can start to prepare myself, how can I step into manifestation, what should I pay attention to, what is important, and all of those things, right? Okay, Olabisi says, DDK, I'm ready for it. Fantastic. Fenjola says she's already experiencing alignment. Okay, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I have a number of people saying that to me. Olubumi says, I'll send you more later, and I'm happy to have it. Thank you so much. I'm ready for it. Fantastic. I'm ready for you too. Great, great. Don't forget, in the year 2020, by the grace of God, in January, I'm going to be having an Unbundling 2020 masterclass that is going to run from Monday to Friday, 5 days of actually showing you how you must play the game in 2020 and uncovering a whole massive framework for what God has in mind for the decade and how we've got to prepare ourselves for it. Is going to be the time of your life. And when the links are ready to get on board it, I will definitely be sharing with you. Okay, so fantastic. We're here, and I've started to share with you a few things, which probably for some people have been confirmations, and for others, it's adding to what you also have privately heard. And for some of you, it's just a whole new awakening in your mind about what the decade would look like and how 2020 is obviously going to play out. And I just want to share with you some things that have been so stirred in my heart to just put out to you in the short webinar. And then, of course, when we get into Unbundling 2020, the full masterclass, you can access the videos and also begin to really, really be deliberate about how 2020 will play out. First thing I want to share with you is the power of a vision. The power of a vision. The power of a vision. Now, if you don't understand what a vision is, you are very, very unlikely to actually carry a vision and birth a vision, right? Sometimes, and in the past maybe 1 or 2 years, the likelihood that you think this way about what I'm going to say next is so is higher because of the things you maybe have seen other people say or do, and it might have started to shape what your thoughts are about what a vision really is. A vision is not an idea that you acquire. A vision is not something that you fabricate and create. It's not something you get into a boardroom and sit around and determine as your own intellectual property. It's not something that you formulate on your own. Like, this is my formula, this is my own recipe, this is my groove, and you start to run with it. It's not, you are not in that much control of the ultimate outcomes of your life if you're going to live a life that truly matches the agenda that is in the heart of the supreme being, God, for you. I believe I'm talking to women who really want to experience the highest level of harmony in their lives. They want to experience the highest level of peace, the highest level of purpose, and they want to be carried into what was prepared before they ever showed up on the scene. Because that's a way to live. Maybe before I talk to you about vision, I should talk to you about two possible ways to experience your life. You can experience your life as the product of your imagination and your machination. You're putting it together. You're modeling and just molding your life. You can experience your life as the outcome of your pursuit, or you can experience your life as a flow. You can experience your life as the creation of divinity, which you get an opportunity to step into time and live. You can experience your life as a predestination, something that was planned before you showed up. And you can just dive into that flow where there's an existing provision, where there's existing abundance, where there's existing opportunity, where there's existing room, where there's existing platform, where it doesn't feel like you're struggling with a whole generation trying to fight your way through stuff, but something has been made for you to serve in your own life, right? You can experience your life at these two different levels. Now, if you're going to experience your life at the level I'm talking about, where there's preordination, predestination, something is waiting for you. It's almost like you've been invited to come into a feast. If that's how you want to live your life, at the level of abundance that flows to you beyond work. Work is great, but there is a reserve of abundance that comes to you when you are right at the center of what has been planned for you. If that's how you want to experience your life, then for you, vision is not something you fabricate. Vision is not something you formulate. Vision is not something you and you place it on the wall and say, yes, that's my life. If you want to be the creator of your own life, well, I'm not talking to you. But if you don't want to be into a resource, a model, framework that is bigger than you, then vision is not something you acquire. Vision is something that acquires you, right? If you want to live at that level of abundance, of harmony, where your voice is elevated by a force bigger than you, then vision becomes a spiritual thing. Let me tell you what, if a woman gets implanted by the seed of a man in her womb, she doesn't need to sit down and say, okay, in my first trimester, I'm going to have this kind of cravings. My stomach is not going to show at all. I'm not going to vomit. I won't spit. This is what is going to happen to me. And I will get pregnant at at this time and give birth at this time. And in second trimester, my stomach will be so centimeters long. She doesn't get a chance to do that. The moment she's implanted, the pregnancy begins to grow. The pregnancy has a life and a mind of its own. And literally, it sweeps the woman in. It consumes her. It overtakes her. That's the power of a vision. If you know the power of a vision, one authentic vision can move you on a 20-year journey that will radically change your life. And when you get to the end of that 20-year journey, you will be a person and in a place you could have never imagined with your mind, no matter how creative your mind is. That's the power of a vision. That's the power of a vision. That's the power of a true vision. So when people say to me, Didi, how do you get to do the things you do? Teach me about execution. I always love to take them back to the foundation. You think your issue is in discipline and procrastination, and you feel like that is why you're constantly unable to achieve your vision. But the reason you don't have power to achieve the vision is because many times it's not an authentic, compelling vision. Let me tell you the secret about a compelling, true vision. Inside a true vision is the seed that gives you energy for its accomplishment. This is about the biggest secret of a true vision. Within a true vision is a seed for manifestation. Within a true vision is energy to drive toward its execution. Does that mean we're not going to work hard? Does that mean there are days we want to do anything? Does that mean there are not times you'll be discouraged? And does that mean you're not going to be able to set clear goals and create an action framework? Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's way easier to accomplish a true vision when you have a systematic model for execution than to accomplish a vision you fabricate, even if you have a systematic model for its accomplishment. So when I'm talking about 2020 and the next decade, and we're talking about the power of vision, the power of light, secrets, seeing clearly, things coming to you, I want you to start to shift from feeling like we're just all of us, we're trying to hustle for something and everybody's just going to pick a part of it and create something and form something. No, we're not forming anything. As far as vision is concerned, you don't fake it till you make it. If it's not there, it's not there. So what we've been teaching, what my generation has mastered is how to, get something like get a vision and then go and just, we're teaching people to go and execute. Execute what? What you must master first is how to be a womb, how your whole life can be a womb to house a powerful divine vision. If you are carried on the wings of a compelling vision, it will overtake you. You think your vision is something you cut out on a board and you're just like, I'm going to do this. You don't do a vision does you. I don't know if you get me. Does it mean I'm not going to work? I'm going to work. But my work is a different kind. It's a work that is in a flow. Right in the seed of a compelling vision is energy for execution. Right in the seed of a compelling vision is power for manifestation. Right in the seed of a compelling vision is an attractive force of the right relationships. Do you know the kind of things that has happened in my life? Just by carrying a compelling vision. I go to places and it's like I'm wearing a perfume. Thought leaders, decision makers will be gravitating toward me because a powerful vision is an energy force. It's an energy force field. It will be pulling the right people. That's the power of a vision. It's the power of a vision. You are the one who sits on your desk constantly just trying to write out, how will I do this thing? You've never experienced what it means to wake up to a fountain of bubbling, is rushing you. Ideas are rushing you. Listen to me and listen very carefully. We have been joking, and that is why even though our generation has such tremendous potential, we are significantly underutilized. It's because we are so busy trying to become someone on our own. And even those of us who are in church are just looking around, copying our friends, trying to replicate their testimonies and pretending that our lives are making sense when we don't even know our life are left from our right. Do you know the power of a compelling vision? It acquires you. It swims you in. It draws you in. When people say to me, I don't accomplish my goals a lot. I'm always procrastinating. What should I do? I said, do you have a compelling vision? If you have a compelling vision, it will not let you rest. A compelling vision is almost like a slave driver. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Your heart will keep beating. Exactly. Exactly. Olubumi says, sister, ideas have been rushing me. At one point, I said, this is information overload. It will be rushing you. A compelling vision will wake you up middle of the night. You can't sleep. You are restless. When a pregnant woman is 7 months and her stomach is bulging, she can't form, I can do whatever I want to do myself. I'm tired and I sleep. You sleep on one side. There are times you wake up middle of the night, you're looking for hot tea. From nowhere, you don't like drinking hot tea naturally. That's it. So the next time you think a vision and birthing a vision, remember that the reason that analogy is used is because a vision is like a seed that implants your womb. And as that pregnancy matures, it has a mind of its own. It has a life of its own. Stop thinking about just crafting one funny goal. You go to these vision board seminars and they just tell you, write. Okay, I'm trying to read. Deshawa says, don't replicate the power of a compelling vision, never lets you rest. Never lets you rest. It's almost like a slave driver. Absolutely. So that's where I want you to begin from. Let me tell you what God is looking for in the new decade. He's looking for a crazy caliber of compelled visionaries. A visionary is a compelled human being who has seen an image of a future state and he cannot go back on what he has seen. Because when you receive a real vision, it enlarges your mind and your mind can never go back to its initial state. So a real visionary is almost like a mad person. They see something before their generation sees it. They see something before others see it. And no matter how discouraged they get, they're still going to continue to go. And when you receive a compelling vision, you can translate one compelling vision into 6 expressions in your life because a compelling vision is bigger than you. A compelling vision has many ways it can be done. A compelling vision takes time. A compelling vision is multi-expressed because a compelling vision is like a mother. It has many children. Do you understand me? So one of the biggest preparation that you can make to step into 2020 is to actually begin to become a womb that can implant a compelling vision. I'm going to share a few things with you about how to become a womb that can implant a compelling vision. Now, there's some people today, and let me tell you how this happens. You look at someone, they're visionaries, they're powerful, they're doing things, and it just feels like the ones who keep. There's so many people doing it. You know what? To God, they become like a spiritual force of nature. They begin to attract and pull powerful, positive ideas because since they are visionaries, they are empowered to do. Don't focus first on learning to do. Teach me. I want to learn to do. I'm going to share some things with you, maybe in this, maybe in the masterclass, but I will definitely open up. There's a whole methodology to doing. It's failure proof. You will do it. It's an energy force field. Fine. But that's not where the first focus is. Inside it. An energy so that you can grow your following more than your best. So it's first about a compelling vision. Faintola says it takes time, feels like something is rumbling inside of me. I'm excited to hear that, right? A compelling vision is bigger than you. It acquires you. So what do you notice? You meet some people who are like visionaries. They catch ideas, they launch it, they do stuff. What is happening to them is because they have allowed themselves to be captured by vision, their fountains begin to flow. Some people have their fountains locked up. Their fountains are full of dead material, like debris, and it's not flowing out. They're not bubbling forth, and they don't know how to be reached by powerful visions. And it becomes important to really learn how to be a womb that can implant a powerful vision. How can I be a womb that can be captured in a vision? In year 2020 and in the coming of visionaries who are going to allow themselves to be captured by a compelling idea, not something that flows in the direction of what they necessarily studied in school. Not just trying to build some small thing. No matter how big your idea is for your life, if it does not line up to what God is thinking about you, it's small, it's limited. Okay? So it's time to begin to prepare yourself to be the sort of person that can become a womb for a compelling vision. Some of you have already received it. And what you're saying is, okay, DDK, I've been captured by a compelling vision. I need to know how to do it. I have a whole masterclass on that, and you're definitely going to access it. You're definitely going to dive on board, because it's not something we cover in a 20-minute conversation in a webinar. It's a whole schooling. And 2020 is the year where I'm schooling women as the Holy Spirit teaches me on how to really do. It's a do year, because a lot is going to be happening so fast. If you blink, you can miss. I'm telling you, boom, boom, transformation, changes. There'll be radical trends in technology, radical trends in research and development, in science, engineering, technology, math. Things are going to be happening quickly because there's a lot to be done. A whole lot to be done. And you are important in the agenda if you take your place and find your own space. Right? So let me share with you a few things that can help you become a womb that can begin to implant a compelling vision. A womb to implant a compelling vision. The first thing I want to talk to you about is cleansing. Number one is cleansing. We have to begin, guys, with cleansing. One of the painful things about my generation is that a good thing is producing a bad thing. The good thing is that we are in the hour of powerful innovation pieces on the earth, in education, in healthcare, in energy, in wealth, in girl-child advocacy, in business. People are doing things, literally. But what is that producing in us? It's making us more and more of an unauthentic generation. There are too many people who are now faking it so that they can make. But foundation is into the status with, because every time a generation becomes unauthentic and we start to forget the right why for what we are doing, we miss the whole point and we become useless in pursuing the divine agenda. Right? Unauthenticity is a strategy of the enemy, because the other way to describe unauthenticity is living a lie. Living a lie. And that's how a generation becomes infected by the root of deception, a deceptive spirit. People are doing stuff for the wrong reasons, because wow, she's a coach and she just held this seminar. People paid her so much to listen to her. Then I have to hold my seminar, so people can pay me so much to listen to me. Oh, she had that conference, 1,000 people were there, and then we're getting a bigger hall. We also want to do it. Cleansing. Can I ask you to take a moment, close your eyes, and actually ask yourself this question: who am I? And how far have I gone from who I truly am? I want you to ask that question, right? Who am I? How far have I gone from who I truly am? Cleansing. If you're going to become a womb that is going to carry compelling visions in year 2020, and you're going to become someone that heaven can trust as a partner to birth what is going to radically shift the way we think, we behave, we interact, and we create change on the African continent, you have to chill, and you have to get cleansed. And that's part of the shedding that I said will happen in 2020. There's going to be shedding. There's going to be shedding. And you have to allow the shedding to happen to you. You have to open up yourself and say, yeah, I've acquired pretense, I've acquired pressure, I've acquired pain, I've acquired hustling, I've acquired stress on the journey to trying to become someone. You were never born to try to become someone. You are someone, and you have a chance to reveal who you are. You were never wired to be trying to become someone, to be trying to make a name for yourself. You were born to live from inside out. You were born to live from your heart, right? People keep despising their heart, trying to create a certain type of life so they can look like someone, but their heart is leading them in a different direction. Your heart is leading you to mentor girls in primary school, but you want to be the sort of person who is speaking on the global stage. So you move in a different direction, but this is where your heart is going. It's unauthenticity or inauthenticity. That's where we found ourselves as a generation. We're the most likely the most unauthentic in the history of humans, very likely. And I don't mean this in the sense of do people really say what they mean? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that many young people are on a path that is so different from who they are on the inside. But we can't even hear anymore. Many of us have become so numb to our inner spirit, to our inner voice, and our inner compass because we're just living. We're just existing. We're not really living. We're not really thriving. We're just surviving. We're just going through everyday life. We're just in the hustle and bustle. So the first step to become a womb that can house a compelling vision and be acquired, because a vision is an encounter. The vision is not a mental idea. It's not a mental fabrication. It's an encounter. It's an encounter. Have you ever had a vision coming to you and you are wailing, you are crying? Have you ever been so burdened by a problem that you start to say, what can I do? Yeah, that's a compelling vision coming to you. Turning you inside out like a woman who is in labor. So cleansing, we start to shed the lies. We start to shed the identity pretense. We start to shed the pressure to belong. We start to shed the pressure to perform. We start to shed the anger that we feel at ourselves because we feel like our journey has been slow and we don't have enough money to show for all the hard work. We have to shed that. We have to shed that. And we have to start to come to what is called a place of simplistic essentialism. Basically, a place where you narrow down to what really counts in life. What really counts in your life? And you know, for every one of us, we have this immovable value system sitting deep inside us, telling us that this is your own compass. This is what matters to you in life. If you keep violating what really matters to you in life, you're just going to be a ruffian. You're just going to be, you know, let me put in quotes, a jaga jaga person. And you're going to lose your heart. You're going to lose your soul. You're going to lose your conscience. And when the book of life was asking, what does it really profit a man to gain the whole world and to lose his soul? This was what it was talking about. Inauthenticity makes people lose their souls. You can look at them, they look successful, they look like they're making money, but they are not one with their immovable values. Who are you on the inside? When you were younger, before this crazy pressure to earn, to have a social media following, to live in a gated estate, right? Who are you? What matters to you? What makes you tick? You know, what makes you, what's your source? What's your story? Who are you? What do you desire to make out of your life, you know, without the pressure? Where do you want to go? If money was not the reward for the work that we do, what work would you do? If we didn't need money, what work would you do? Who would you be? So that cleansing has to happen. It's important. That's the beginning of now becoming a womb that can accommodate a powerful vision in the days that are ahead. I know some of these conversations are painful, they're uncomfortable, it's not what you want to hear. You want me to give you 6 steps to goal accomplishment. And I'm going to recommend some materials for you that have helped me, but I want the materials and the resources to meet the right person, right? To meet the right person. Now, the second thing I'm going to share with you on your journey to becoming a womb that can house a compelling vision is after cleansing begins, it's now the principle of reflection, the principle of introspection, the principle of meditation, right? You are going to have to date yourself again. Many of you don't even know how to date yourself. You don't know what your soul is telling you. You don't know the signs that are coming out of your spirit. Some of you know how to be spiritual, but you don't really understand the conversations that is coming out of your spirit to you. You don't know. You don't know your sensations. You don't know your sensations. And you're such a spirit being. You were meant to live from inside out. You're just in such a permanent hurry, right? So how do I become a womb that can house a compelling vision? After cleansing and shedding, the next thing you start to pay attention to is reflection, meditation, introspection, journaling. I know that I've shared this with you before, and I hope you don't just roll your eyes and think it's a joke. It's so powerful. What I want to ask from you as a commitment till the end of this year, if it is possible, commit to 30 minutes alone, quietly, just thinking about your life. When we're done with this, we're going to share with you what I call the compass that helps you move from 2019 into 2020. FG, please help us put up the link for registering for this webinar, the same one we put in the coaching squad. Just put it in here so that those who are not members of the inner circle can register, put in their email address, and that way we can send out the compass to them, right? I want to challenge you to become a person who dedicates some time daily or almost daily, if you can't do it every day, to just be alone, to meditate, to take a portion of scripture or a thought that is powerful and is coming at you. Like some of the things we're sharing here, if you have any light bulb moment, I want you to just like, is this so? What am I cleansing from? Am I living a lie? Am I living away from my values? And to just ask some of those questions and jot some of your thoughts. And there'll be nights you don't feel like asking yourself a question, but you can take a book and read. You can take a material and listen to. This is a season to listen to Cindy Trim. Cindy Trim is one of the most powerful voices that God has given us as a preparation for the coming decade. I see so clearly. She has a book called Hello Tomorrow. It's going to teach you how to be a visionary. It's so powerful, right? I believe that because we're in the decade of light and the decade of the seer grace, it's important to really understand how God sees vision so that he can incubate you with something you can serve your generation with. So you need to create time for meditation, reflection, prayer, introspection, writing, thinking, being alone, not just being in a constant hurry. The third thing I want to share with you about preparing to be a life that is going to be able to carry a compelling vision is to pay more attention to the context of problems or the context of crisis, right? Some of you are so burdened, but you keep throwing your real burdens away and you keep trying to pick a different one. Let me give you an example. It is possible every time a person passes through a part of Lagos, you see children beggars, isn't it? You see children beggars. And in your heart, you're like, I'm so uncomfortable about this. Where are their parents? What's the government going to do? How can we really help them? You have that burden, but you don't think it's a burden, right? So you discard it. But because you run an organization that is into weight loss and you're a fitness coach, you determine that your real life's purpose is to preach the message of healthy living, which is not a problem. But by doing that, you actually box yourself into a small corner and you may miss an opportunity to carry a vision that is bigger than what you currently do today. Let me tell you what, it is possible that the vision that is coming to you in year 2020 will lead you on a radical departure from what you currently do. Let us settle that and let us know it. God is not boxed by your labels. He's not boxed. Marian, I'm excited to hear that. He's not boxed by your labels. He's not, you can't constrain him and say, my goal in life is to become, the most significant fitness coach in Africa by 2024. You created that vision and then you put a fitness coach in the US as your goal, as your mentor, and it's on your vision board. And you want to write all these fitness books. But every time you pass by a child beggar, it actually pricks at your heart. And you're missing the point that this might be a compelling vision waiting for you. And this happens to all of us, including me. We live within the framework of small boxes that we have built for ourselves because we all like labels. So that when people say, what do you do? Who are you? We have something to answer, right? So I'm starting to see as an example that I am born an equiper. So it's not even fair for me to just say, "Oh, what do you do?" I own a coaching company, or I run a ministry, or I'm an author, or I run a Bible school, or I pastor a church. Those are different things that I do. And we like labels because it helps society put us into small little boxes and use it to define us. But I'm starting to see that the bigger overarching definition around my life is that I'm an equiper. But if I went to a conference and someone was trying to have a conversation with me and they said, "What do you do?" And I say, "Well, ultimately, I'm an equiper for my generation." They're going to roll their eyes in their minds. And this is how the enemy just constricts us. So I want to send you back to the problems that are tugging at your heart. Even if it doesn't sound like the industry you ever know anything about or you are ever interested about, I want you to stop complaining and just discarding it. Some of you, you are medical doctors, but what really tugs at your heart is every time you see a woman who is in a loveless marriage, it breaks your heart. Every time you see a child who has not been fed or who has a health crisis, it breaks your heart. Wow, that's a compelling vision calling for you. So I want to help you understand how God operates. And you know, God is so undercover many times. You can miss him. Whatever is jumping at you, tagging at your heart, and you just complain about it and put it aside, could be a pathway for something through which you can change your generation. And sometimes it doesn't mean you're the one who's going to solve the problem, but you might create an answer that is going to solve the problem if it's executed by someone else. You just don't know. So when next you are confronted with a problem, I want you to start to say, what is this problem trying to teach me? And what can I do about it? What can I do about it? Don't say, well, if I see child beggars, I know I can't do anything about it. I'm not the government. I don't know what to do about it. No, don't say that. The moment we start to ask questions about crisis and we start to say, this hurts, what can I do about it? It keeps coming back to me. That's this. And is the fourth thing that can make you a womb that can house a compelling vision. Let me tell you what happens when you really pray, especially privately. When you pray, you are teaching your spirit to hear. That's what's happening. And I want you to stop praying mindlessly. Stop praying so that you can tick off your religious timetable and just have your conscience cleansed that I've spent some time praying. I want to teach you 3 things that you should start doing when you are praying, because this spirit, and is in one of those moments, you probably will be implanted with a seed out of heaven. Look, when you are implanted by a seed out of heaven, it will dominate the earth. Your name is just going to be carried on the wings of angelic announcement. And more importantly, that thing that you do will almost feel like God is touching people. They're going to be reading from you and they're going to feel like, why does it feel like this is God's letter to me? Their heart will be burning when you're speaking, right? So I'll teach you 3 things about how you should pray differently. I want you to pray more conversations, right? And praying conversations means that it can happen anytime and anywhere. I want you to have more conversations with God and just be like, what do you even think about this? What did he was saying? Can you break it down a bit more to me if it's from you? Where would you say I am currently with carrying a compelling vision? Do I have that kind of womb that you like? Just have more conversations. Stop thinking about prayer as something you do for 1 hour or 4 hours or whatever in a corner, a sacred corner, and then you move on. Have more conversations. Ask more questions. Relate more everyday life stuff to God in a one-on-one conversation. Is going to change everything. It's going to change how you're praying. And prayer is definitely a powerful way to be a womb that can carry a compelling vision. A second thing you start to do is to start to pray scriptures if you're a believer. This is so powerful because when you're praying scriptures, you are repeating after God. So you go to the epistles and go and find all the prayers that the apostles made for people, during during scriptural times, and you begin to pray that again, and it's going to make a big, big difference. Third way to pray is if you are already interacting with a vision, a dream, an idea that you believe has come, don't try to fine tune it in your own head. Look at me. I started a coaching business in year 2014, and right now it has reached well over 15,000 plus people, plus women across about 11 countries of the world. Up until now, maybe not up until now, just this year is when I got my first coaching certification. Do you see? And all the time before then, I kept doing the work because I wasn't just trying to be a coach by myself. I kept presenting it back to God. I believe that if my prayer book was open, the most repeated prayer that is going to be on the list of prayers, my most repeated prayers with God, the first will be asking for help. Just asking for help generally. God, help me. How am I going to do it? Help me, help me, help me. The second is definitely going to be, what God has asked me to do. Things are put in my heart. I put it back to Him. And I said, I can't do this. I can't do you. You have to do it. You have to help me. The third will be maybe my family, right? So what am I saying to you? Even when you start to get a vision, an idea, you have to put it back to God and ask Him to help you get it done. And that's such a powerful thing, right? So fourth thing about having a womb that can house a compelling vision is prayer. The fifth thing that I want to share with you is to have channels of knowledge in your life. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what. And I pray that you see this, you get it. The worth, the value of a visionary is in their mental image of what the vision could mean if it is accomplished. The worth of a visionary is in the caliber of their creativity and their thinking and their innovative angle to what it would mean if the vision is accomplished. What I mean by that is two people can get the same vision, but they're going to execute it two different ways. Am I right? Two people can get exactly the same idea, but one person is going to execute it with a youthful, vibrant, creative, colorful feel. Another person could execute it with an academic, rigid, constrained, structural, theoretical feel. Do you understand? Two people can try to write the book about the same thing. One is funny, humorous, exciting, and another is boring, strict, uninteresting. Why? How their mind works. Let me tell you what. If a vision is very weighty, I promise you that heaven is careful about who it enlists to carry that vision. You must make yourself a more likely option in heaven's vacancy for a compelling vision. And you have to work on your mind. The more your mind expands and becomes more innovative and more exposed, the more likely that when a vision comes into the womb of your spirit, message and will reach a great audience. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And you have a responsibility, to prepare yourself to be able to carry a powerful vision. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to read. We are actually quite an intellectually lazy generation, and I'm sorry to say that. I feel like because we have different kinds of information, the moment you've read a lot on social media and you've read a bit of things on Twitter and you've read some things on Google, you sort of feel like, well, I'm covering my knowledge quotient, but not necessarily. If we're going to go far in 2020, if we're going to enter the decade with power, if we're going to be the kind of thought leaders that can marshal a change that the older generation is going to respond to and see as a new thing that is going on in the decade, then we have to have the kind of mind that is powerful, the mind that has vision, the mind that can carry manifestation. So I'm going to read books. I'm going to listen to thought leaders. I'm going to take time to think and be creative. I'm going to ask for feedback and learn from my mistakes. I'm going to put myself into communities that challenge my mind. I'm going to get myself mentors and leaders and accountability partners that help me make a difference. I'm going to commit to traveling around the world and interacting with other cultures so that I can just expand my realm of reasoning and my realm of possibilities. Do you understand this? These things are going to be so powerful for you to be able to step into the next decade, to vision your 2020 and to produce a difference in the coming year. When I get into the masterclass, I'm going to be showing you clearly what action steps to take and how you can definitely move into manifestation, how you can definitely move into execution. But I'm gradually going to be tying this to a close. And the final thing I want to share with you is the power of getting yourself a coach. Get yourself a coach or get yourself a power circle. In 2020, it's going to be important for you to see with new eyes. And one of the most powerful ways to get a new lens through which you see the world, because if you don't see the world differently, it's very unlikely that you will interact with the world differently. What you want in your 2020, you're calling it new results. It has to be a different year. But basically, how you have a different year is that you interact with the year differently. You interact with opportunities in the year differently. You take advantage of things in the year differently. You connect with people at a different level. You do a different set of things because of what you now know. So to interact with the year differently, you have to see the year with new eyes. And one of the most powerful ways to have new eyes is to ensure you are not the only one seeing what you're seeing, trying to do it all by yourself. And that's the secret of getting a coach. Let me tell you what Les Brown said. It was as though he slapped my whole brain when I was listening to his interview. And Cindy Trim asked him, share with me. She said to him, tell me what you think is the value of a coach. And I thought that's one of the most powerful questions that anyone could ask Les Brown, because he's a literal icon in his generation, and in our time. And he said, basically, thank you for asking me that, because actually I also have my own coaches, and my children wonder why I pay so much when I'm myself such an icon. And he said, the reason I have a coach is because you cannot read the labels when you are locked up in the box. So you always need an extra different kind of eye of a visionary who is trained to catch you when you fall, to show you what you are missing, to help you have an appropriate estimation of yourself and your work, right? So that's the power of a coach. It's so important. In 2020, I want you to begin to think about it, pray about it, and say, I need to commit myself to people or a person who is trained to help me see differently. And if you're not ready for that, I would say go for a power circle. Have a group of friends who are visionary, who are driven, who want to really experience the power of a vision in 2020 and who want to do big things too, who want to take bold steps too. And sit together from January, begin to ask yourself the right questions from January, and then have appraisals every single month. Have a power circle and commit to meeting 12 times at least in year 2020, sharing your dreams, keeping yourselves accountable, sharing the resources needed, taking time to pray, and showing up when each of you has something big going on, partnering and cheering yourselves on. These things are going to be so important for you to step into the 2020 of your dreams and the decade that is going to be so radically different from anything we have ever experienced. Don't forget, I'm going to be providing you details of the Unbundling Your 2020 Masterclass, and I really can't wait to give you all that you really need to prepare for to be able to take the decade and to take the year. Okay? So I'm so proud of you. You stayed through up until this time. I believe that this has been so valuable to you. And then before we take our questions, just a few questions that you want me to attend to before we close today, I want you to type up in the next 3 to 5 minutes what has been your biggest light bulb moment. What has been your biggest light bulb moment just being here with me today and listening to these insights that I've shared with you. So I'm going to take that. Thank you, Funke Giwa, for putting out some of the thoughts that I have. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. I'm delighted to be able to do this webinar with you, and I'm definitely just so excited to see how much value we've been able to share together, and hopefully you are able to use some of these insights to make a difference. So what would you describe as your light bulb moment today? What would you describe as your light bulb moment in this webinar? And I'm waiting to hear from you. Thank you, Kemi Popola. Nene, please ask me the question again. I see that you've put up a very powerful question, and I might be able to look at that. What if I have gone really far, driving something I know is not my passion, but it's a good source of income and helps me fund my vision? Unfortunately, it's still time needed for the vision. Powerful question. She says, what if I've really gone far doing something that is not really my passion, but it helps me fund my vision, but it's still so much time? It's simple. You are going to need to make that thing earn for you to be able to get someone who will manage it while you still use the income to focus more on your vision. It's simple. Someone has to replace you because you have just one life, and a visionary has to serve their vision, not what brings income. We all need something that brings income, and sometimes vision doesn't begin to provide the income immediately. So I like that question so much. But definitely, as the business grows and it starts to earn more, then you have to get someone who can sit on it so that you can focus on what's really important to you. Okay? And Olukwako says that praying in a conversational manner was great for her. Taiwo says, or Mary says, read intentionally. Kemi says, vision is not something we cook up, it's an encounter. It has a life of its own as we pursue it. Yeah, Ajibola says, praying conversationally with God also. Safety Chick said, staying plugged in. Taiwo says, knowing the burdens in my heart are compelling visions. Mary says, reading intentionally. Safety Chick says, remaining plugged in channels of knowledge, getting a coach and a power circle. Cleansing for Modupe was powerful. Temilolua says, stop praying mindlessly. FG says, the power of a coach and the power of a power circle. Tolu says, the importance of introspection, journaling was a key highlight. I'm so excited. Anwuli says, wow, everything, but especially prayer, because I've been praying conversationally recently and beginning to feel I wasn't praying much. You are praying a lot. I love all the great things you're saying. Antoinette says, I must be true to my vision and I have to stop violating my values. The power of compelling. Judy says a vision can be given to two different people and they execute differently because of how their mind works, and that you found that so valuable. Esha State says that hers was not being lazy intellectually. What she found that very mind-blowing. I'm so excited to have been able to do this with you. I'm experiencing a light situation, obviously, but I'm sure that you can still see me sort of, and you can still hear me very clearly. Modupe says, I'm reminded about where I am, and the pressures, the things don't matter, they become distractions I have to see clearly. Nene says, my biggest point, I must pay more attention to the problem of context or crisis. Yes, praying conversationally, reading channels of knowledge. Dorothy says, cleansing and not praying mindlessly. Shewa says, putting the vision back to God and asking him the how for the vision. I love it. Edili is so glad to have you. She says, my light bulb moment is knowing that the one thing that bothers me can be a vision heaven is birthing through me. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Okay, I have 10 minutes to take a few more questions, so you can put out your questions, but don't even worry if I don't respond to them. We're going to come back to this chart, get out all the questions, and I'm going to be answering them also during the Unbundling 2020 Masterclass, which will run for a week. So I'm waiting for a question. Olubumi says, this session was just humbling for me. I'm so accurate in what he's saying to me that I feel so humbled. Yes, some sessions are confirmations that really make you know that you're on the right path. Nene, thank you so much. You've seen my answer to your question and it makes a lot of sense. She says that's pure wisdom. Okay. Olajumoke says, How do I get people I can be accountable to? You either need to find and create your own power circle, or you need to dive into an existing one. So if you're not a member of the inner circle, then you should be one, so that you can have a coaching squad and have people you can be accountable to. But there are three powerful categories of people that you can become accountable to. You can become accountable to a mentor that is committed to you, you have a relationship with. You can be accountable to friends who you have said, hey, I need you to support me, I need you to stand with me in something I want to do. Or you can be accountable to members of a network that you belong to, a community that you belong to, and it can even be your church. It can be a cell group in church. You just have to be deliberate and prayerfully find one. Okay? How important are the use of connections? Do you think we should use connections to achieve our visions, or just wait on God? What? You need connections to achieve your vision. Absolutely. Absolutely. God brings people into your life so that you can get your vision accomplished. By the way, people who don't have vision always mismanage relationships because they don't know what to do with it. So obviously, you definitely need to understand the different relationships in your life and how they help you achieve your vision. I have a video course called Game Powers, where I share with you 10 different kinds of relationships, and it's in the inner circle. So you should register to join the inner circle so that you can start to access some of this powerful content. Funke Oladiti says, what is the difference between a coach and a mentor, a spiritual father? Powerful question. There are three different types of relationships, but they can exist in one person. But I prefer they exist in different people, actually. A spiritual father is a figure, a spiritual authority, and a figure who accepts you as someone they believe God brought to them, and they have a prophetic insight into your destiny, so begin to help you channel a cause in the direction of your destiny. A mentor is someone who has walked the path that you are walking, and it can be marriage, business, career, and it can also be ministry or other things, who have walked the path you are walking and can share with you insights that will help you be maximized, get exponential, not make the same mistakes they've made, and who can show you vulnerably the journey of their lives so that you can do better quicker with your own life. A coach is someone who is trained to bring out the best in you by putting you under creative tension till you accomplish your goal and you get to the next version of yourself. And of these three, coaches require a different set of competencies. So a person might be your mentor, but they're not able to coach you systematically to produce the next level or the next version of who you are. And I hope that that was useful. Let me see. So I've answered Funke's question. Bumi says, thank you so much for this webinar. I'm excited also. Mary says, I have a burden for poor people generally, like market sellers. How do I help them, especially their saving culture? That's your question. That's not my question. That's the power of compelling vision. So you begin to pray about it. Okay, so I have my light back. I'm excited, right? So Mary says, how do I begin to help them? I like the question you are asking, because it means you are going to go back now and you're going to start to say, okay, I have a good question for God. And that might be the beginning of a compelling vision for you. So it's your question and the answer that you're looking for. Adedoni says, is this webinar available in the inner circle? We're uploading this webinar. By tomorrow morning, it will be in the inner circle and you can always access it. It's also going to remain on our page on YouTube. And even if you are not in the inner circle, you can access it. Okay? Modupa says, this isn't for me actually, but for a friend that is so dear to me. She's in ministry and does nothing and has kids. I'm burdened and I feel bad that she's not working. What do you think? Please. I don't know what to say about that because I don't know the full story. So why is she not working? And if she's doing ministry, that's a great thing. What word has she received? You know, it's possible that a person is doing the right thing, but they did not. They're not undergirded by any instructions. So what instructions has she received? Except I talked to her, I can't say anything at this moment. Why is she doing what she's doing? What constraints is she facing? And how can we help her navigate out of those constraints? Okay. So Oshifora Janet said, most powerful is that I don't acquire vision. Vision acquires me. And a vision of the same can be given to two different people, but they execute differently based on how their mind is. I'm excited to hear that. Louis says, wow, you just spoke about one of my burdens, which is for beggars. Wow, I literally screamed. Okay. Idowu Omashile says, good evening, ma. Please, is this for ladies alone? And what's the inner circle about, ma? Okay, so this webinar is for men and women. Anybody can use it. But the inner circle is my coaching community for women alone. Let's see if you start something for men very soon. But obviously, if you're searching for insights that I have shared, you can look through my materials. You can look to my through my videos that are available on this particular channel, and you can definitely still find very useful insights because I teach both men and women, but the inner circle is specifically for women. Okay, I like that. I like that. I like that. Fumi says, wow, thank you, DDK. So a coach is skilled to draw out results and not just encourage and counsel. This clears it up for me. Yes, yes, Funke, yes, absolutely. I'm glad to have been able to give you the needed distinctions. Nene, the relationship code, yes, is on contribute pathway in the inner circle. That's game powers. Thank you for clarifying. That course I spoke to you about, which helps you see 10 different types of relationship, is called the relationship code. Look for it in the contribute pathway in the inner circle. Okay, Modukwa says, when is the registration for the inner circle starting? And when do we have Firebrand Forerunner on Amazon? Firebrand Forerunner is going to be on Amazon before the end of this month. We're working on it. The inner circle now has a monthly subscription. So at the start of it, at any point in time, you can register to have access to it for a month. Wait till February and you have access to it for 3 months. But you can actually just write to info@immerseinnercircle.com or DM at Immerse Coaching on Instagram, and we can get you registered into the inner circle currently. And you're going to have such a great, great time. Penelope is asking, what coach certification did you do? Okay, so I'm taking coaching certifications with EverCoach, and you should check them out. And I'm currently on a very powerful course with Rich Living on how to be an exponential coach. I'm currently on that, and it's been such a helpful process getting me better to do the work that I want to do. Okay, fantastic. Olubumi says that she's already been checked Amazon on Firebrand, Amazon for Firebrand Forerunners. We're working on that, and it's going to get on before the end of this month. Okay, I want to share with you some of the resources I said could be helpful for those of you who want to start to think about how to set your goals, since we've cleared out what it means to embrace a right vision and what it means to work with a compelling vision. So let's say your vision is already compelling. It is clear what you should be doing with 2020. I'm going to mention 2 books already that you could check out that are going to be so useful for you as you get on to goal accomplishment. Number 1 is the book called Goals. I think is around how to achieve practically anything in your life. It's called Goals by Brian Tracy, such a powerful book. And the second very powerful book is called Goal Mapping by Brian Mayne, Mayne. You could Google those books up and see if you can get an e-copy or buy yourself in the store and start to read it. It's going to be helpful. And like I mentioned earlier, Hello Tomorrow is a book for visionaries who want to claim a generation and do a powerful work that pushes the frontier of humanity in their time. Hello Tomorrow by Cindy Trim. These are 3 powerful books that you can get your hands on this December in preparation for 2020 and the next decade. As I leave, let me remind you again that we're going to be having Unbundling 2020 Masterclass in January. If I have your emails, be sure that I'm going to be giving you details about that. And when we are ready to run, some people are going to sit in the class with me in a closed-knit session, and some are going to be able to access the videos afterwards. I wish you a stunning, stunning life. Yes, Goal Mapping by Brian Mayne. Brian Mayne, Mayne, as well as Hello Tomorrow. Olubumi has already downloaded Hello Tomorrow, as I said it. It's by Cindy Trim, and it's such a powerful material. Olubumi is a private coaching client on Stretch Woman, And be sure that we're going to be reviewing Hello Tomorrow actually in January of 2020. Thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for making up room in your life, this 90 minutes, to have this exponential preparation for an exponential decade. I'm going to see you soon. I'm so proud of you. Keep winning, and bye-bye. Thank you so much, guys, and I really have a great time with you.